You are listening to Housekeepers Chat by the United States Department of Agriculture from 1927. Disclaimer: this is read from a historic archive document. Do not assume content reflects current scientific knowledge, policies, or practices.
This broadcast was aired on Tuesday, the 15th of February of 1927. Two important questions on child nutrition are answered today. An extra good menu concludes the programs. Menu and recipes approved by the United States Bureau of Home Economics.
Welcome to the Homemaker Show, where useful tips and recipes flow. From Aunt Sammy with love so true, and the Department of Agriculture too. Gather round and take a seat. We've got everything you need to eat. Practical info for your home. Recipes to keep you strong. For your family, day and night. We'll guide you right with all our might.
Do you remember what we talked about yesterday? Food for children. Not long after I had concluded my talk, one of my radio friends called me on the phone. "I wish you'd tell me," she said. "How to make my children drink milk. You said they ought to have at least a pint a day. I'd do well if I get them to drink half a glassful, and I have to bribe them to do that." "Do you like milk yourself?" I asked. "Mercy, no," she answered. "I can't stand it raw, but that's no reason for the children disliking it." And I actually believe the woman was sincere. She couldn't see any connection between her dislike for milk and her children's refusal to drink it. Isn't it queer how intelligent parents will prejudice their children against certain foods? And another thing I have against some parents is their continual talking about what a child should eat while he eats it. If I were a child and some older member of the family told me at least once a day at the table to eat my spinach because it had vitamins in it and to drink my milk because it had calcium in it, I'd better not tell you what I do. It amounts to insurrection. I am not going into the subject of food refusals and dislikes today. Most of them are based on psychological upsets and are not connected with the child's inability to take or to like a definite food under the right conditions. A liking for milk may often be built up by preparing and serving it in various forms. A surprise in the form of a raisin milk pudding, thickened with cornstarch, might be a good start, especially if the pudding is offered without any comment about the milk in it. Milk may also be disguised in custards, cocoa, or by cooking it with cereal. Vegetable milk soups and creamed dishes may also be introduced in the child's diet. Milk is a valuable food, no matter in what form it is taken. I know one child, exceedingly indifferent to milk as a beverage, who will sip it through a drugstore straw. The novelty appeals to him. Here is another question, which belongs in this program. Please tell me how to ensure my children's teeth against decay. Some years ago, the answer to this question would have been, brush them. Now we know that although cleaning is highly necessary for the preservation of healthy teeth, there is no magic brush which will ensure healthy teeth. Proper foods build strong teeth. The greater share of this building takes place before birth and in childhood. Here are a number of essentials for a diet which builds strong teeth. First, sufficient calcium and phosphorus. Our teeth and bones are made largely of calcium. Calcium is also a necessary part of the blood and of all the body organs. The chief sources of these minerals are milk, leafy green vegetables, whole cereals, eggs, meat, and fish. Second, the diet must be rich in vitamins. Remember what foods are noted for their vitamins? Butter and fresh fruits and tomatoes, leafy vegetables and other vegetables, eggs, cod liver oil. I won't attempt to call the roll of all the foods which are rich in vitamins. That belongs in another program. But we mustn't forget milk. All the known vitamins are found in fresh milk. Third, the diet which builds strong teeth should include hard foods for jaw and tooth exercise, such foods as raw vegetables and hard whole grain bread. But really, what's the use to continue? The short and the long of the subject under discussion is this. Normal children who have the right kind of food are likely to have good health, and if they have good health, they're quite apt to have good teeth. That's the whole thing in a nutshell. Now, what's that faint rustling sound I hear out in Nevada? It must be Esmeralda getting restless for a menu. All right, Esmeralda, quit flipping the leaves of your notebook and I'll give you a menu. How's this? Mock duck, mashed potatoes, gravy, buttered beets, pickles or jelly, cabbage salad, and fruit with cookies. Now, mock duck, as you already know if you have a radio cookbook, is not a duck at all. It's flank steak pretending to be a duck. I am suggesting flank steak because it's one of the less expensive cuts of beef, and I think we might as well save a little money this week so we can have an extra good dinner next Tuesday on Washington's birthday anniversary. Cherry pie and maybe a revolution salad. I'll be thinking about it. Now, as I said before, mock duck is flank steak. A flank steak is almost the only piece of beef which has no bone, and as there is little fat or other waste on it, a large size one will be enough for the average family. Be sure the butcher doesn't score it. What's the matter, Esmeralda? Oh, you don't know what score means? When I say don't let the butcher score the meat, I mean don't let him cut the surface to look like a checkerboard, because he is likely to cut too deeply. If you wish, score or slash it lightly yourself, or pound flour into it. The flour will take up the juices when you sear it. The recipe for mock duck is in the radio cookbook. What are you frowning about now, Esmeralda? You don't have a cookbook. Better send for one right away, because all the best people nave a copy of the radio cookbook. Yes, it's free. Now get your pencil, and I'll read you the recipe for mock duck since you don't have it. Select a large-sized flanked steak. Make a stuffing of the following 6 ingredients. 1½ cups stale breadcrumbs, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, 1 onion minced, half a cup of chopped celery, 2 tablespoons butter or 1/4 cup of finely chopped salt pork. I'll repeat the ingredients. 1½ cups stale breadcrumbs, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, 1 onion minced, half a cup of chopped celery, 2 tablespoons butter or 1/4 cup of finely chopped salt pork. Brown the celery and the onion lightly in the fat. Then mix the ingredients lightly, combining them with a fork. Spread the stuffing over the steak. Roll the steak crosswise, not lengthwise, and tie it in 2 or 3 places with a clean string. The roiling crosswise is necessary because when you carve the mock duck, you cut crosswise of the grain, and the meat is more tender. Flank steak has a very decided grain, so this is important. Roll the outside of the mock duck in flour, then sear the surface in a small amount of fat in a baking pan. Add more flour if necessary so there will be enough for brown gravy. When the meat is thoroughly seared on all sides, add a cup of water, cover closely, and cook until tender. This takes about 1½ hours. When the meat is done, mix 2 tablespoons of fat with an equal amount of flour. Add the liquor from the pan and enough water to make as much gravy as you need. If the steak had fat on it, there may be enough fat and also flour in the pan to make the gravy without adding any other. A parsley garnish is pleasing. Mashed white potatoes go well with beef and gravy. Cook the potatoes just long enough for mashing and then drain them. Warm the butter and milk, which are to be blended with the mashed potatoes, before you put the potatoes with them. The melted butter makes the mixture easier to beat until it is light and fluffy. And no good cook ever serves mashed potatoes which are not light and fluffy. Also, no good cook ever serves lumpy mashed potatoes. If you put your potatoes through a ricer, you'll be sure to have no lumps. If necessary, mashed potatoes can be kept hot in a baking dish in the oven until the rest of the dinner is ready to serve, but they will be better if timed so that they are brought to the table immediately. Beets are the second vegetable suggestion today. At this time of the year, they will likely be stored winter beets, unless you are fortunate enough to get young spring beets from the market. Either kind is desirable, but each must be handled in a different way. The older beets should be soaked overnight before cooking, and then cooked a much longer time than the young beets. Sometimes it takes 2 hours or more to make them tender. Young beets can be cooked in from 3/4 of an hour to an hour. Always leave at least 1 inch of the stem ends on beets to prevent what is called bleeding or having the color run out. The skins are left on for the same reason. Put beets into boiling, slightly salted water to cook. To peel beets quickly when they are done, drop them for a moment into cold water, and the skin and stem can be slipped right off. Dice or slice them, season with salt and pepper, and reheat them for a few minutes in butter. Add sugar to the seasoning if you like. Cold beets are so often put in weak vinegar and eaten as a relish that many people do not know any other way to serve beets. Hot buttered beets are nice for a change. Some of your good sweet pickles will be excellent with this dinner, or a glass of grape or currant jelly. You do not need a salad, but if you want one, cabbage salad is easily made. Cabbage is one of the most valuable winter vegetables we have as a source of vitamins, and should be eaten as often as possible until the season for other green leaf foods arrives. Shred the cabbage fine, and combine with a dressing made as follows. Beat 1/2 pint of thick whipping cream until stiff. Add 4½ tablespoons of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of fresh grated horseradish, a grating of onion, a few drops of Tabasco, and salt to taste. These seasonings may be changed according to individual preference, but be sure there is enough dressing in proportion to the cabbage. Just a dash of cayenne pepper may be used if you do not have Tabasco. If the horseradish is in vinegar, use only 2 tablespoons of lemon. Half a pint of cream will make dressing enough for about 3 cups of finely shredded cabbage, which will serve 6 persons. Fruit canned last summer is just the thing for dessert. Serve a few simple cookies with it. If you have no home canned fruit, sliced oranges will help to supply the needed vitamins for the day, and oranges are fairly cheap now. Sprinkle the oranges with shredded coconut. Here is the entire menu: mock duck, mashed potatoes, gravy, buttered beets, pickles or jelly, cabbage salad, fruit with cookies.
From the kitchen to the floor, we'll help you handle every chore. With a smile, and helping hand, making life both sweet and grand.
Gather round and take a seat.
We've got everything you need to eat. Practical info for your home. Recipes to keep you strong. For your family, day and night. We'll guide you right with all our might.
This broadcast was researched and produced by BreakAway Empire LLC.